Alright, Scott here from Party Foul with Greg behind the camera this time. This is our second attempt at doing Admonition. The first one wasn't really wrong, but I knew that internet trolls would have a field day with it. So I wanted to correct or actually mention the one thing I did wrong. So, Admonition, we'll go over that first. When an enemy model advances and ends its movement within 6 inches of target model in this model's battle group, the affected model can immediately advance up to 3 inches, then Admonition expires. The affected model cannot be targeted by free strikes during this movement. So we're going to show you a couple different ways that this can work. So the first one is we're going to have Aurora back here. She's more worried about her jack. She puts Admonition on whatever dumb jack this is. I don't play cock, so whatever. And for simple purposes of a unit charging a model with Admonition, will make its charge. As soon as the movement ends from the first model, Admonition triggers. So this model can then activate, move 3 inches away, and then the rest of the models are going to be out of charge range, and they'll just run up and engage.
You can choose to trigger it.
Yeah, well, they can always, yeah. But obviously you're going to want to choose it on the first model, because if you don't, you're going to have more models on you, and depending on, you know, he may get lucky. He's like, okay, I'm going to charge with that one, and you're like, oh, I won't take it. I'm going to charge with this one. Okay, I'm going to take it now. And you're fine, but if you get too many in, and then all of a sudden the player stops saying, okay, I got 3, I won't do those ones any closer, so that way these models can attack, then that could mess up. Some of the other ways Admonition could work, knowing about Admonition that you get a 3-inch move, in a situation like this, what you're going to want to do to counter Admonition is to have the first model run and base the model to limit how far and where it's going to go, because the 3 inches is going to be hampered, I guess would be a good word, for the 3-inch movement for where it can go, and then still leave some possible charge attacks on it from the other models. Depending on situations, obviously, where terrain is, you can really box something in, which is awesome. Other ways around Admonition, when Admonition's up, and it's kind of dirty, but with Cavalry, you declare ride-by attacks. So as we know with the Cavalry ride-by, it moves, but his movement's not over. Now he gets to spend all his focus to continue to beat down this jack or caster, whoever has Admonition on. Once it's done, it can then finish its movement, and now Admonition triggers after he's actually done all his combat actions. Not so good for Admonition. Another evil way, for some reason, let's say this happens. She goes in to try to finish the job, can't kill Gorshade. That's Gorshade, right? Yeah. Can't kill Gorshade. See, I don't play Crix either. And she decides she's going to spend her last 2 focus to put Admonition on herself, thinking that's going to save her. So what happens is Gorshade activates, forfeits his movement for aiming, which doesn't matter, he's not going to aim, and then he's just going to buy attacks and kill her, because he actually never had a movement, therefore he never advanced, therefore never triggered Admonition. So the key words here for the triggering of it: when an enemy model advances and ends its movement within 6 inches. So the model didn't advance 0, it advanced like never, nothing, did not advance. So it ends its movement but never advanced at all, because it forfeited the actual movement part, so it doesn't trigger. It's a very key, because it's an and. You actually have to qualify both of the statements, not just one. I can't stress that enough. It's very important to know that. It's been done wrong many, many times. Some other interesting things about Admonition. That's why we got old Rowdy up. So she wants to keep her jack alive. She's back here. Rowdy's here. Rowdy charges said jack. Jack doesn't want to die. Rowdy is easily going to one-round it. So it triggers Admonition. He Admonition's 3 inches away. Well, that expires. Rowdy has a handy little thing called countercharge. So Rowdy gets to countercharge another 3, well, full 6 inches anyways. He's going to countercharge to there. So now, if you remember, before he Admonitioned away, Rowdy charges. Successful charge. He ends his movement. Now Admonition triggers. So he goes 3 inches. Now countercharge triggers because a model ended within 6, ended the movement. Boom, back to here. So Rowdy successfully charged. He gets his charge attack, which is his first initial. He also successfully countercharged. So he went the full 3 inches. He's going to get 2 Mat 8, POW 18 boosted shots before he gets his right arm and then spends whatever focus he has left to kill the jack. Not good. Here's where I kind of went wrong last time, so we'll do it this way. Aurora has Admonition up. Rowdy's going to charge. Boom. A lot of players just instinctively trigger Admonition, and move their 3 inches. So Admonition expires, and again, as you saw over here, boom, countercharge. Because it's just instinctive to go the full distance. It's in your, I don't know, in your genes. You just want to get away from danger, and you want to get as far away from it as possible. But when you have a weapon with reach, the best thing you can do when Rowdy charges you, or any model with countercharge, counter slam, is not to pull back anything more than 1.5 inches, or 1 3/4, or whatever. You stay within the 2 inches, because as long as this model's engaged, he can't countercharge. With Admonition, that will keep you alive. Alright, some other things to note with when you're actually fighting against Admonition. So when Rowdy charges in and base contacts her, we're going to also show that with these. So he's going to turn this way, base contacts. The problem with base contacting a model with flight is that she can go just out of your range, use a 3-inch template. She's got more than enough to just fly over top of you and get out of your melee range, therefore preventing you from doing any attacks. Flight also could work if you were smart enough to box her in like this. Admonition, she can just Admonition away, like I said. It's not good. If you're trying to get around Admonition, you have to think outside the box sometimes. Slams aren't going to work, because when a model slams a model with Admonition, his movement ends, and then she can Admonition away, therefore slam fails. So think outside the box. A model, say, like this. You could run some Fen Blades up in front of him. He does a power attack throw, picks it up, boost, tries to hit. If it hits, he lands there. They're both knocked down. Now she's knocked down. Admonition can't trigger. Sad day for Aurora. She's probably going to get eaten by something.
Technically it can trigger, but she just can't advance.
No, that's it. It does trigger, but, actually, he never actually advanced. So he never ended his movement. It doesn't trigger.
It's true, but if somebody else charges her, you can still choose to trigger it. You just can't go anywhere.
It doesn't trigger from the actual model being thrown.
No.
Was there anything else you wanted me to go over that?
No, that's good.
Yeah, that was it. That was just the 2 things. The slams, the throws. Throws are good.
It's a complicated spell.
It is a complicated spell. So I think we covered it good. And I know you trolls who don't love us will tell us if we did it wrong. Thanks for watching.